how you doing? How you feeling? Welcome to my YouTube channel called True Fernie. I am your host, True Fernie, and today I asked this question: are Nike Air VaporMax Plus still a thing in 2023? Well, let's find out. Right, so right off the bat, we got the regular, I sometimes don't even know what color to call it, but I guess this is sort of like the orangey, iconic, brand, loyal Nike orange colored box. So nothing too crazy on the actual box, which again, it is a GR release. Don't expect anything cool, anything interesting, but again, I do not care about boxes. So here we have the Nike Air VaporMax Plus. This one is in the black and gold colorway. Specifically, this one is the black metallic gold colorway. Now, I went for this one because, first of all, I have a trip coming up, a European trip, and unfortunately, I don't have comfortable walking shoes. I got a lot of sneakers, but I don't have a comfortable walking shoe. I got the Nike Air Max Zero, which is the prototype to the Nike Air Max 1. That one is beaten to hell. I actually have to restore that one. There's a lot of paint crack. It's just yellowed. It's oxidized to hell. And honestly, I feel kind of embarrassed wearing it out in public. So it's a great walking sneaker. The bubble is still intact and everything works great, but it's not in the best condition. I have a couple of Air Max 95s, Air Max 97s. I still don't think for them to be Air Maxes, they're the most comfortable walking shoe. They're a little stiff. So no, I'm not going with that. I could wear some Jordan 3s, but again, I'm going to some rainy weather and I don't want to mess up none of my actual heat sneakers. So I went on and finally pulled the trigger on these, the VaporMax Plus. I went with this colorway specifically because I want them to get beat up, but I don't want them to get extremely dirty or something that's hard to clean. So I went with the black, but again, I don't like all black. I don't like black on black. I'm not a sort of black sneaker type of guy. So I went with this to add a little bit of more spaz to it. I was also going to go for the blue ones, but I kind of prefer the gold one just because it's a little bit easier in my opinion to kind of mix and match. Right off the bat, the upper has this sort of fabric. It's a very tight knit. It's not a fly knit, but it is a very soft to the touch upper. It's really breathable. You can tell, you can actually stretch and probably see the fibers open up a little bit. So that's another reason why I went with the VaporMax Plus. I'm not a big fan of the fly knit. I just don't like knitted anything. I don't like knitted shirts. I don't like knitted pants. I don't like knitted shoes. So that's why I went with this one. It feels like it's gonna give me a little bit more of protection to my feet as far as rain, as far as water goes. I know if I get these soaked, of course my foot is gonna get soaked, but I think, if it's drizzling here and there, it shouldn't be too big of a deal. On the midsole is a little it's pretty thin. There's not much midsole there. It is VaporMax Plus's biggest, I want to say, characteristic is that the outsole is attached directly to the upper sole, as we can tell this, and this is probably the biggest characteristic or the biggest element to the VaporMax Plus, which is of course the outsole. This specific style of shoe came out in 2018. It mixes and matches the upper of an Air Max with the outsole of a VaporMax. This is a completely encapsulated, well, first it's cut off right in the middle of, it has a back bubble here in the heel part, and it also have four front foot with just I want to say 4 chambers of the bubble, the VaporMax bubble. You can tell, by the thickness of it, it gives you an inch to 2 inches of height, which is, let's be honest, is another reason why I got it. But again, this is through and through. This is, inspired by running shoes. This is a running shoe in essence, something that you can run in all kinds of surfaces. You can also see that there is some rubber here in the heel part of the shoe, and also here on both the out and the medial side of the shoe. And as far as the outsole goes, I'm imagining for traction, given that the other sort of spikes in the bubble are basically just rubber, and you can tell that they are very slippery. So hopefully this gives me enough traction in these slippery London streets. But there's not going to be any way for me to test that because I do live in hot ass Texas where it's 103 degrees right now and we haven't seen rain in like almost a month. So it's gonna be tough for me to really test the traction other than just going out there and getting a few steps in concrete, and it's not a very good test in my opinion. But how about we talk a little bit about the design of the shoe. Now, according to Nike's official description of this shoe specifically takes inspiration from whales from the beach. Here it says the Nike Air VaporMax Plus looks to the past and propels you into the future, nodding to the 1998 Air Max Plus with its floating cage, padded upper and heel logo. It adds revolutionary VaporMax Air technology to ramp up the comfort and create a modern look. Bringing beach life to the city, the prominent arch right here, this gold part, draws inspiration from a whale's tail and that structure, while the iconic wavy fingers nod to palm trees and ocean waves. Now, I'm imagining they're talking about these fingers right here and the sort of like rubber that goes from the midsole all the way across the upper, which I can see it. I can see the inspiration as far as the beach thing sort of goes. I think you would be able to better see it if I would have went with another colorway. It also mentioned the Air Max Plus sort of inspiration for the top, which of course they have a padded heel here with some plastic, and with the Vapor Max Plus logo here, which kind of nods inspiration, or takes inspiration from, I've always thought it looked like that. I may be wrong, but it reminds me of the icons for the table of elements. If you remember back in high school, we had to learn that whole table. Nothing too crazy on the insole. I mean, it is very thin. It's not very padded. I don't know what the actual technology or the difference there is between, for example, a running shoe's insole than that of a basketball shoe. I know Jordan Brand has all these rather padded insole sometimes, but this one is really thin. I'm imagining for the weight, and I'm guessing it's not necessary to have a very padded insole because you already have a rather big and bulky cushion here with the VaporMax bubble here in the bottom. So nothing too crazy as far as the insole goes. I'm gonna put these straight to feet right now. I'm gonna take a little walk and test them out. I can already tell you I'm gonna feel tall as hell, and that's already a plus. A VaporMax Plus. Right, so first impressions right after wearing this for like a mile or so. Again, it gives me like 1 to 2 inches of height, which is always welcome for a short guy like me. Again, there's no way I can really test the traction, especially in some dry ass pavement. But I didn't feel like I was losing grip as much as I thought I would because of the rubber outsole. However, I will say that the biggest issue that I found with this shoe is just how high up you are. Yes, I said it's a good thing, but at the same time, it's very easy to roll your ankle if you're not careful enough. The shoe, the outsole is high enough that it makes it easy for your ankle to roll out, whether it is that you're stepping incorrectly, you step on something that kind of like messes up with your balance. If you're actually using these for running, it's going to be extremely easy to step incorrectly, especially with just the high velocity, high intensity of you running in the shoe and just losing your balance. It will happen. So I definitely don't think this is the best running shoe. It is a good walking shoe, especially walking in for long periods of time. For example, for this trip that I got coming up, this is a great shoe for that, just because of the cushioning, the suspension in the big bubble that you see here in the outsole. I instantly felt just how flat my other shoes felt as soon as I swapped out of these. The comfort is there. The way that this shoe is made is very tight to your foot, so I definitely would recommend you go half a size up. I went half a size up with these and they fit just fine. They're snug, but they're not tight. They're kind of flexible, so there's not a lot of stiffness as far as the heel to toe transition. So I definitely am happy with that. I think that's a great thing. Top mesh, sort of meshy fabric is really breathable. Did get a little hot, but again, I think that's because it's 103 outside right now. not so much because of the shoe. So I'm guessing I won't have issues with this out there in, for example, rainy weather, so to speak. Overall, it's a very comfortable shoe, definitely for more so walking. Do not recommend this for running unless you're comfortable in your ankle strength and you're confident that you won't roll your ankle when you're running. But just that's something to keep in mind, at least if you're actually considering using these for running and actual high intensity working out. But all in all, I'm very happy that I finally got my hands on an Air VaporMax Plus. It's something that I've been eyeing for 4 or 5 years. Ever since they came out, there were always something. It's a very striking silhouette. It's a very interesting and unique design shoe. So ever since I saw the popularity rise in these, I've always wanted them, and I'm glad that I was able to find these for such a great price. I found them for $140. I was able to use a discount code on an already discounted shoe. So make sure to check out the Nike app. There are some discounted colorways. I don't think this shoe is worth for $210 for the actual full price retail. So if you're able to find, a discount code here and there, I definitely would say go for that. I just don't think $210 is a fair price for this type of shoe. It's a great shoe, but again, I just think that's a little too up on the premium price. I think Nike they're increasing their price slowly, not just on the actual Nike brand shoes, but also on the Jordan shoes. Definitely, I think Nike is either adjusting for inflation, or they're just, trying to become up the brand in some sort of way as far as exclusivity goes. But I just don't think that this specific shoe is worth $210. I'm sorry, it's a little too much for me. And so if I wasn't able to find these for a discount price, I definitely wouldn't go for it. But folks, you let me know. I mean, these have been around for quite some time already. People have gotten their heels dragged in these. They've been around for quite some time. What are your thoughts on the Air VaporMax Plus? Do you still think it's a good shoe? Do you still think it's an interesting looking shoe? If you've had your VaporMax since 2018, have they held up over all these years? Is the bubble still intact? Has it maintained its form, given that the material seems like it would give in easily because it's mostly fabric? After a few years of use, I'm imagining that from the front, they're going to start looking a little flat. How has it held up to you, this specific shoe, with the passing of time? I'd be really interested in hearing from everyone who's owned this shoe for quite some time, especially me as a new owner. But yeah, links to my socials are down below. Please make sure to follow me on Threads, where I spend most of my waking hours talking about sneakers, gaming, anime, basketball, sports, anything and everything that might interest you as my viewer. Please also make sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, where I post sneakers, where I post blogs, pickup blogs, etc. Anything that has to do with sneaker content is uploaded here to Shoe Fernie. I also have a main channel called True Fernie, where I mostly talk about gaming. Also, make sure to follow me on Instagram and TikTok, where I upload more short form content for, specifically sneaker content, little quick reviews, a little performance reviews specifically for basketball shoes. I've been doing that quite some time, and I'm excited for all the new releases coming out for the new season. I'm especially eyeing that Luka 2. That is a shoe that I've been meaning to get. So be on the lookout for that upcoming. But folks, I've been True Fernie. This has been Shoe Fernie. Please take care of each other, but most importantly, take care of yourself and your mesh fabric big ass bubble shoes. All right, peace.